Welcome to the Motivation Without the Hype podcast with your host, Gez Perez. He's an author, high-performance coach, and motivational speaker. This show brings you inspiring messages and interviews to unleash your greatness in life and in business. So let's get started.
Hi everyone, this is Gez Perez and welcome to our Inspo Talk, and I'm excited to share our 5-part series which is called Kick Procrastination Out the Door for Good. And today it's part number 4, and it is to stop procrastinating, start doing with these simple suggestions. So don't forget, we do have a downloadable workbook guide that you can go through each of this series. So let's dig in and let's get started. So the habit of delaying work, putting off projects until the last minute, and even avoiding important meetings is a cycle of procrastination that can be difficult to break. Now, there is a big difference between not being motivated on occasion to having a habit of putting off everything until the last moment, or even waiting until it's very too late. This habit of procrastination can end up holding you back from reaching your goals or even achieving the bare minimum. So, procrastination is like an itch, and it's like that force that every time you go forward, it pulls you right back, right? That's procrastination. So instead of letting it in action take over your life, try our suggestions or tips or insights, however you want to put it together, to stop procrastinating and start doing it. Not tomorrow, it's going to be today. So insight number 1 or tip number 1 is you got to make a list of things you are avoiding. Really important to take note is you got to identify what are the things that are holding you back. What are the things that are, that are pulling you back in terms of the things that you want to avoid. Because when you highlight that, right, because I always tell my clients that the power of self-empowerment is 2 key areas. Number 1 is self-awareness. When you are aware, then point number 2 is responsibility. We are responsible for our actions. We are responsible for our results. We are responsible for our outcome. Now, if you don't do what you know that you need to do, right, then you're going to disempower yourself. But the moment that you identify what are the things, it's going to empower you to taking action. It's going to elevate your game, and it's going to help you with your psychology as well, that positive mental state, PMA, right? Not PMS, PMA, positive mental attitude. So you got to identify what are the tasks that are that you are avoiding so you can actually get them done. So create a list, take the things that are most important and put them at the top of the list. I suggest top 3 things that needs to be done. Now, if the list is too large, break it down further according to the last day dates. Those that are most important have a shorter due date should be tackled first, right? Breaking down your list into manageable parts gives you a visual idea of how much you have to do and how much you have left, right? For me, I'm visual, so I have a whiteboard and I write the things for the entire week, right? And then I put some calendar dates to ensure there's no conflict of any other, calendar dates that I have with my wife and my family things as well. So, I do have a life, and I trust that you also do. And so it's really important that there's no conflict, because if you have conflict of calendars, you can have a conflict in the relationship as well. So it's really important to sync that. Many years ago, I learned that it's really important to communicate, and these calendar clashes are key to really avoid those clashes, okay? So that's just another tip. All right, so yeah, you got to break it down further. You go manageable parts, okay? So you got to visualize and see that you get things done. And again, identify what are those things. Number 2 is you got to reward yourself. This is where we need to really identify these things. When you have procrastination, there's sort of like guilt. It's like, I don't deserve this. I didn't reward myself. And so when you do small wins, you got to reward yourself. Now, whatever reward it may be for you, but it's going to give you that excitement. So whether it's small, large, or in between, you got to reward yourself. So halfway the point is a good place to start, right? So again, you got to identify those things that are going to help you achieve even the smaller things, which is really important. And you got to reward yourself, okay? You got to reward yourself. And when you do that, it's going to help you motivate you to keep on going. All right. Tip number 3 is don't be vague with yourself. Procrastination is basically a mind game. If you play with yourself to keep things from doing things that you're avoiding, that's the problem. And that's the challenge that you need to overcome. Now, the mind likes to clearly define rules and guidelines when presented with unclear requirements. So chances are your mind will revert to doing nothing at all. So you got to have clear goals, right? And clear outcomes, right? So many people set goals, but they don't have what the outcome may be. It's like, yeah, I'm going to achieve this, but what happens after that? So that's really important to have these outcomes and follow through into that. Because if you don't, you're going to be vague, you're going to be unclear, you don't have any clarity, and there's certainly no confidence in executing 100%. But when you lay down your plans and your outcomes with clarity, your mind will attach to that, and it's going to help you stay motivated to getting things done. So let's recap on the whole entire segment. So number 1, you're going to make a list of things you're avoiding. Number 2, you got to reward yourself. Number 3, don't be vague with yourself. So I trust that these insights have inspired you to take action. And again, please do reach out to us for more information. And we would love to hear from you and how we can serve you with all the provided links there for you. If this episode has been helpful and uplifting, we would love for you to write a review to inspire more listeners to get plugged in. We will continue to provide high-value content in each and every episode. Now, if you don't mind sharing this podcast show on social media by inviting others, it would mean the world to me. Every time you tag me, we will get the opportunity to share those posts, and together we can make a difference in the lives of others through inspiration episodes just like this. So there you have it. In closing, continue to unleash your greatness and tell yourself that I can, I will, and I must, and we'll see you on the next episode.